Hey guys, Avelina De Moray here, and today I am going to film my first question and answer video. I'm so excited that so many of you commented on my last video. Last time I checked, there was like 120 plus, and some of you asked me like up to 5 questions. I'm like, I'm not very good at math, but that's a hell of a lot of questions. So I've got my phone with me. I'm just going to scroll to the very bottom and let's get straight into it. How do you deal with heat and wearing all black? I avoid the sun. I rarely go outside. Summer this year where I moved to Tamworth was considerably hotter than where I used to live in Sydney. But you know, like I said, just stay indoors, put the air conditioning on. I really do tone down what I wear though. Like it's just kind of tights and a singlet. Like you can't really wear PVC or anything like that. So yeah, cotton materials that breathe. That's about it. I don't know if you guys want me to post like who's saying them. If I recognize your name, I'll say hello, but yeah, I don't really know the format of how we should be doing this, so forgive me. Would you ever do a gothy type photo shoot with your sons? Absolutely. I don't know if I will wait until they're old enough to kind of want to do it, but Steele's almost doing that already. Every single time I put on my makeup, he's like, "Mommy, mommy," and he, as I told you in my last video, he opened up my favorite red lime crime lipstick and it all dried up, so I had to buy another one. But yeah, I think it'd be fun to put a bit of makeup on him and dress them up, so maybe for this Halloween. Having said that though, our family like portraits that we get when we go to see Santa look kind of rock starry anyway, because Bon's all decked out in his stage gear and I get really dressed up. And I don't think I dressed the boys in black last year, but that it always looks really cool because Bon's always like, he's like, I'm like, "Can you smile? You're sitting with Santa." He's like, "This is me smiling." I feel like I really suck at this already.
This is from Shirley.
Do your bags ship internationally? Specifically, do I ship to India? Yeah, definitely. I will ship anywhere, like all over the world, no problems with that. My online store will give you a quote for shipping so you can check it before you have to pay for it. Number 2 from the same person was, can you do a perfume collection or best perfumes? Absolutely. I've been wanting to do that for so long. I will tell you right now, my favorite is Black Opium, which was a gift from Von. That perfume is so lovely. First off, you're amazing. Oh, thank you. This is from Oregon. And do you get weird looks in public? Also, what is your fave kind of soda? Weird looks, not really. I don't get done up like this every day. I'm very upfront with you guys that this, you do not wake up looking like this. This takes a good hour and a half. I don't have time to do that every day, so I get done up when I've got like a business meeting, like today I had one with Dre. Go and check her out if you don't know who she is. She's my next collab, which I'm very excited about. Anyway, I don't want to give it all away.
What the fuck was I saying?
Weird looks, so no, not really. I just kind of blend in and feel quite normal when I go out. I feel naked and exposed. And there's a lot of people in my town with tattoos. It's a very tattoo friendly town. Every second person is alternative with their hair color or tattoos, so yeah. Soft drink, I do like the occasional Coke, but I try to stay away from it because it's just full of sugar. Okay, the next one from I'm so bad. If you guys join me on my Instagram stories, I think I'm just gonna not try to read your usernames because I'm so terrible at that. Hi lovely, what I want to know is when you are writing your music, what do you find inspires you? Okay, let's start with that question. I'm very visual, so I find movies inspire me. So when I was watching just the other night when my best friend was over, Dracula Untold for like the 5th time, I found the opening scene where they were introducing us to Vlad the Impaler with the silhouettes and the burnt reds up against the blacks and the impaled bodies. I was just like, that needs a soundtrack to it. And obviously it's a movie, so it did have one, but imagery kind of conjures up music for me, if that makes sense. So I'm always very inspired by movies. And As Angels Bleed, obviously we were watching a lot of vampire movies when we made that album, and I was also watching them or listening to Von create the music when I was doing my artwork or editing, post-editing the photos. So all of the album and the art was heavily inspired by probably my top 10 vampire movies, which I'm sure one of you have asked me, so I will get to that in a moment. The second question from the same lovely lady was, what are your fashion inspirations? As like a style, I really love New Goth, so when I see someone like Death Candy on Instagram, I just like follow the shit out of her. Sometimes I unfollow her just so I can follow her again. I guess influencers is where I go to find cool looks and stuff like that. I don't really go to, like, I know Death Candy wears a lot of like Killstar and all these brands that I already know about, but I can't really say I'm one that will go to the website to look for that. I kind of like to find people and look how they put their personal touch on it, and then of course by the time I do it, it changes again. And yeah, that's awesome. That's fashion. Next question from Marie, I can pronounce this one, is will there be an As Angels Bleed tour in the future? I'm not gonna say no. I'd love to say, like, I'm leaning a little more towards the yes, but Yvonne and I are planning more children. Yeah, thinking we're nuts, right? Ugh. Yeah, I think we're nuts too sometimes. I want to kind of be pregnant. I want to get that out of the way because I really didn't enjoy being pregnant. So it's kind of hard to rock like corsets and sing and stuff when you're like pregnant. So we'll probably get, I don't want to say out of the way, that sounds really negative, like just have another child, get that done with. But having said that, the live band is no more. So As Angels Bleed, if you don't know, is basically Von and I, we write the music, we record the music, we engineer the music, we mix the music, tooting our own horns a little bit here, but it's a very hands-on project. And you find that with a lot of artists, like look at 9 Inch Nails, it's Trent Reznor and then a few like core people, you know, and the live band might change here and there. So yeah, the point of what I was saying is As Angels Bleed, because there was a point, and believe it or not, As Angels Bleed is Von and I, so we can create music just for the two of us. We are working on new tunes. We still haven't finished the cover of This Corrosion that we're working on for Sisters of Mercy. We've got 2 new very exciting songs. One I think will be called Erotic Funeral, and the second will be You Make Me Wanna Die, love song. I'm serious, it's a love song, about killing yourself because you love the person so much. Don't you just feel like that? But seriously, 3 new songs that we're working on. I'm kind of really focusing on the handbag collabs and stuff like that at the moment, but you never know. This is a funny question. You guys must just think I sit on my ass all day. Allison asks, what does your husband do for work? Or does the band and your website support your family? Yes and no. To answer your question, oh my god, my husband and I run 2 music schools, and when we moved to our new town, Tamworth, we started up a second music school. So he teaches there and he's got students that he teaches guitar, he teaches bass, he teaches drums and banjo, which is cool. Yeah, but as my business is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, I think that will kind of end up on the back burner because obviously I like him to be home and he can see the kids. Not that his job takes him away, like he works twice a week for like 4 hours. So we've never really had normal jobs. We've been very lucky to be self-employed and to be successful at what we do with the music schools. And yeah, it's great now because we have kids, we can spend a lot of time with them, even though they drive me nuts sometimes. But being self-employed has really allowed me to pursue all the shit that I'm doing, like YouTube, the handbags, and kind of relaunch my business because I kind of drove it into the ground there for a while. So to get back to your question, no, my business was not supporting our family. It still isn't yet because the money that I'm earning is going into the handbags, like solely. But I foresee in the next year it kind of will, and there will actually be a profit, which I think is why most people get into business, to kind of make some profit. I hope that answered your question. Next question is by Serena. I love your necklace. Thank you. It was the black one. That was one of this is another, she's not talking about this necklace, but this is another one of the dollar necklaces that I will be doing an upcoming video on. I love your necklace. My question is, I have such tiny feet. Okay, where is this going? I wear size 1 in kids. Is that really small? Do you have any ideas how I can get cool goth shoes to complete my style? It's so hard to find cool shoes in my style. Love you, Blackheart. Oh, I don't know. Maybe like find cool kind of like Asian or Japanese shops, because I've gone into a lot of baby clothing stores and they have a ridiculous amount of shoes for children, and I've often found really cool like biker boots for steel. They are tiny. I don't know how tiny your feet are, but yeah, try that. They're relatively cheap as well, but they're really, really cool. I had to read this question again because I'm a bit slow. Elizabeth asks, I'm curious which countries you will be shipping the handbags to, i.e. where you and your collabs fans are from based on the pre-orders that we have received. So for Riri's one, the top country, I know this because I just looked at the stats for my online store, but it's like USA #1, I think #2 is the UK, and then we go Germany, and then we go Australia, After that, I cannot remember because I cannot count past 5. But yeah, that seems to be generally the demographic. Oh, but having said that, we just had our first order to Finland, so hello Finland. What made you decide to create handbags? Well, really I started about 5 years ago with my first bag. I would tell you to all go and look at it, but I actually just sold the last bag like 5 minutes ago. It was my femme fatale, so it was a little tiny clutch with a bat on the front. I'll put a photo up so you can see it. So yeah, they're completely sold out. And I made that just because 5 years ago I couldn't find like a classy kind of gothy clutch, and I was like, well, hell, I can make one. So I did. Next question from Dolly. Is London named after the city? And what would be some of your top picks for girls' names if you were expecting one? Ooh. I do have my fingers crossed for a girl in the next pregnancy, but obviously I will love whatever I have. We're on that slippery slope of like ending up with 3 boys if we don't have a girl, so that is a lot of testosterone in the family unit. Okay, so to answer your question, not really. I have been to London, but it's just a name that resonated with me. My hairdresser actually, who I love, she's no longer my hairdresser. I haven't cut my hair in like 2 years. Anyway, back to the point. I always have to bring myself back to the question because I'm really, like now I'm just rambling. So she had a son, and yeah, it was her first son, and she named him London, and I was just like, wow. That was like 5 years prior to trying even before Steel. And yeah, it just resonated with me, and when I told Von, he really liked it as well. And it was funny because we had Steel and we had London even before we started trying for kids. And when we went away on this like conception holiday, and I actually did fall pregnant from that, it was really romantic. Really, it was, because I got pregnant. TMI, right? But yeah, back to it. We were walking along the beach at Shoal Bay, where we were staying in I'm terrible, somewhere on the coast of New South Wales. We're walking along and we're like, you know, talking about our love for typo negative, as you do. And I just said, how about Steel for a boy's name? Everyone's like, yeah, I really like that. I'm like, okay, cool. That was easy. A few months later, I found out I was carrying a boy. It's my first child, and yeah, Steel it was. And our second, not our second choice, but if we had a second son, the first choice name would have been London. For girls, I don't really want to give it away, but yeah, one starts with A and one starts with S. That's all you're getting. But their names sound very glamorous and like movie stars. Cheyenne, if I'm saying this correctly, asks, what is your favorite makeup and clothing brand? Makeup specifically for eyeshadow, because I haven't really tried anything else, would be Kat Von D. I am in love with her palettes. Although today's makeup was not done with any Kat Von D, so there you go. But I have pretty much exclusively, apart from today, been using the Serpentina palette and the Metal Matte palette, which you'll see in my upcoming video. My best friend does my makeup, so if that's not on, you'll see it shortly. If it is, I will put a little taggy thing so you can click on that and watch that next with my bestie Lisa. Hi Lisa! Clothing brand, I'm not really sure anymore. I'm really excited by Restyle. They have some really cool stuff, but I haven't really bitten the bullet, so to speak, and like bought anything yet. Oh wow, that's a lot of alliteration. I haven't bitten the bullet and bought anything yet, but I might. I'm so retarded. Gee, I don't know. I'm probably just gonna say Killstar because I've got like 2 or 3 of their items and I really like their dress and the quality and stuff like that. Yeah. Next question is from Kirsty. Hey Kirsty. Hi Avelina, big fan of your music. Thank you. Is there any plans to tour? I live in Scotland, would love to meet you someday. Oh, so I've already kind of addressed this, so I'll just like kind of skip over it pretty quickly. I am planning some international travel. It will probably be to America, but if I line up enough collabs in Europe, I would definitely love to come and meet the people that I'm collabing with and do some videos and stuff like that and promo for the bags. So yeah, you may see me in Scotland in the not too near future. Next question is from Shell. Are you going to show that beautiful bedroom of yours and maybe the rest of your house? By the way, you are wonderful. Oh, so talented, and your family is so beautiful. Thank you. How great is my husband who's bringing me a cup of tea? Thank you. How's Steel?
Flip.
Oh, I love my tea. Okay, so to answer Shell's question, absolutely. Am I going to do a room tour? Yes. I just need to wallpaper like another wall. I need to put up some guitars on the wall and buy just a few more kind of decor-y items and stylize it a little bit more. There's a little bit of painting here that needs to be done. So I know I'm taking my sweet ass time. Also, I kind of wanted to do like a room tour and the wardrobe, but I think I'll have to separate them because the wardrobe is like its own room in itself. It's pretty big. And we haven't even bought the wardrobe yet. And I found this really nice red wallpaper, so it's going to be red and black. And we've got to buy like a chandelier and everything, so that's not ready. But yeah, I am getting a lot of requests for that, so I might just, I don't know, do a mini tour. But yeah, it's definitely on the agenda. It's just, I need a little bit more time before I do that. As for the tour on the rest of my house, I have been filming the renovations as they've been happening, so I just need to edit that and put that on. And yeah, it's the same thing. Like, I'm not entirely happy with it, but I'm never, like, house is like a piece of art, you know? Like, when is it done? It's never done. It's always kind of evolving and changing and stuff like that. And I run out of money. So I had, you know, like a small decorating budget, and that's long gone. So nothing's really progressed since then. So please pre-order a handbag so I can finish stylizing my house. I have expensive taste. It doesn't help at all. I will probably do all of that, but I just need to get everything exactly as I want before I show you guys. Would you like to visit NYC, New York City, or would you visit the States where you do a meetup? Okay. That's interesting. So again, Von and I are planning a belated honeymoon. I just have to convince my mom to babysit because I don't really want to bring the kids. I'd like to do that maybe mid 2018, which really isn't that far away. That's like a year away. Wow. Wow. So I've got to line up a few more collabs. I was already speaking to Dre about meeting up with her, and I'd really like to go to Universal Studios again. So I think that'll be really fun to film like a vlog and do that together. Of course, I'd like to meet up with Drac. So if I can, I'd like to have like maybe 4 or 5 people that I can meet up with while I'm there. Of course, I'd love to go to New York, but I think I would end up in LA, so it's kind of like the other side of the country. Maybe we could do a stopover. As for meet and greets, I don't think I'm popular enough. I think I would like, I don't know, announce one of those and no one would come and I'd be like gutted. So if you can guarantee that you'll be there, maybe I'll do one. I have no self-esteem. Okay, the next question is from Excellent Becca. If you could swap places with anyone for the day, who would it be and what would you do? Well, you haven't specified if they're alive or dead, so I'm gonna assume that it's a-okay to say dead people, and I'm gonna go with Freddie Mercury. I'm such a Queen fan, and it was so cool today to hear that Dre is as well. We've got that in common. When I think of Queen, I think of my childhood. I think of driving to holiday destinations and my dad just playing, you know, every single Queen album back to back in our Holden Commodore, and like me asking it, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And him going, no, just listen to the music. So very fond childhood memories of Queen, and I would love to be Freddie and just like be a complete diva and go on stage and sing to like, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. How cool would that be? He did seem like a little bit of a diva, so I'd probably just up the ante a little bit and like cause some shit for a day. Okay, next question from Jamie. This is like 20 questions in one. What kind of music do you listen to? What do you like to eat? I think you've said you don't eat meat. No, I do. Do you have any pets, books you like to read? Jesus Christ. What's a normal day at your house like? Crazy. Okay, I'm answering them as I go along. Music, rock, metal. I'm recently getting a little more into like industrial, like Clan of Xymox. Haven't really been too much of a fan of industrial music, but I'm really enjoying their newer stuff. What do I like to eat? Everything. Yeah, I really like creamy, bacony, chickeny kind of meals. I love mashed potato. I'm a big carb eater. I don't know how I stay thin with all the carbs that I eat. I love rice, I love risotto. Do I have any pets? No, not currently. Books, do you like to read? I love to read, but I just don't have the time between all the videos that I'm making for you guys, the handbags that I'm designing, the upkeep of my website, raising kids. My life is pretty busy, and then being a wife, spending time with my husband, writing music, let's not forget that. Oh my God, I do so much. There's unfortunately no time to read. Brian Scott, hey Brian, he asks, what made you get into music? This is a funny story actually. It was my first music teacher. So I would have been in year 9. I was currently studying or taking private lessons for piano. So I was classically trained for probably 4 or 5 years. But yeah, we started guitar in school, as they always start you on acoustic guitar. The really cheap ones that the school has as well, with the thick ass neck. You can't even play a G chord. Yeah, so anyway, I was playing it and I was picking everything up quite quickly. And I remember his name was Mr. Smiley. He was more like Mr. Asshole. Anyway, I remember asking if I could take the guitar home so I could practice. And he's like, Guitar is more of an instrument for men. You should leave it here. That did not resonate well with me, motherfucker. Who says that to a young, developing girl that's showing an interest for music? Seriously, that's not cool. He kind of kickstarted my love for guitar, funnily enough, because I was like, bitch, I'm gonna show you. So yeah, I took it home. I played it like 5 hours that night. You know, I had blistered fingers that week. And by the end of it, I was like, Mom and Dad. I was like, Mom, Dad, you need to buy me a guitar. Oh. I said it just like that. I think I was like 15. And yeah, they were like, you better practice. I'm going to practice. I love it. This is my thing. I want to stop piano. I want to do guitar. And yeah, they took me to my local music shop and they bought me like this $149 like, you know, rip-off kind of Fender or whatever with the amp and the, yeah, it was just like a little kit. And yeah, never looked back. Dad was like, you better get real good real quick. And of course I did. He's very proud. That's also technically how I met Vaughn, because he was my guitar teacher. Above that music store was the music school, which I now run with my husband. And yeah, he was a guitar teacher there. So he was my guitar teacher. It's so romantic. The Ghoul Fiends asked, what is your favorite smell and taste of something? It's probably Vaughn. I know that sounds weird, but you know when you just like snuggle in with someone and like they have their own smell or scent. Yeah, he's very calming and I love him to bits. So I just love the way he smells. Taste a hot cup of tea in the morning. I mean, a hot cup of tea is good at any time of the day, but when you're dehydrated and you wake up, oh, it is so good. I love my tea. Ash asks, any plans to do it too? Oh, this is coming up a lot. Or any goth meetups, particularly Brisbane, because I live near there. So I know they just had the Brisbane picnic or the goth Brisbane picnic or something like that. I'm still 6 hours away from Brisbane, so it's a bit of a commute and really tricky with really young kids. Like I know a lot of you know I have children, but stuff that like for you people, you mortals without kids like do without thinking is a complete chore if you have 2 kids under 3. Yeah, it's full on. So if I'm going to attend something, it has to be like super duper high priority, like something that is not ever going to happen again and something that I'm really passionate about. So meet and greets would be cool. But again, I'm just worried that like no one would come. Mary asks, how do you stay positive when times are tough? I don't. Ask Vaughn. I had some really dark moods recently. I had to go to the doctor about it. This is all too public. But yeah, I'm still dealing with postnatal depression. So I have to be very in tune with how I'm feeling and things like that. And something I needed to do recently was separate like my business from how I personally feel. You know, like for example, my manufacturing company emails me with saying, you know, Riri's bag is going to be delayed, and I just like freak out and I can't process that information. I get stressed, I get anxiety, and Vaughn's like, there's nothing you can do about it. You know, people just need to understand that we're ordering so, I've said this a million times, but when you're dealing with such small quantities, the company like that I work with has like orders of 10,000 or 1,000, so I'm always going to be put at the bottom, which sucks because I'm being charged a lot. So anyway, that I'm really working on that, separating the anxiety of running or stress of running a business and not letting things affect me. And yeah, just have strong people around you. Make sure that you're not around like psychic vampires, like people that suck negative energy out of themselves and into you. Just be around positive people, and if they're not positive and they're always whinging and they just, you know when those people call and you're like, I really don't want to talk to this person. All they do is whinge. If you've got friends like that, just distance yourself from them. Stay away from them. Okay, Diana asks, hi, this is a completely random question. That's okay. I saw one of the videos where you had the chance to meet Villy Velo, yeah, from him. Any thoughts on their recent announcements this year about the band ending? Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. Like, I think it was long overdue personally. I haven't really liked what the band has done for many years. I'm a huge fan of like Razorblade Romance Days, Dark Light, Venus Doom. They're probably my 3 favorite albums from him. But after that, I think he kind of lost the plot. You probably needed to make that announcement 5 or 6 or 7 years prior to that. So yeah, I wasn't surprised. Hats off to them for doing the same thing over and over and over and over. I think people that don't get to see the behind the scenes process of what goes into like being in a touring band, really don't appreciate how detrimental it can be towards your personal relationships. Usually these people have none. Your romantic relationships are usually dysfunctional. Yes, we were offered tours for As Angels Bleed, but I was like 27, 28 at the time, and I'm like, shit. To me, as a woman as well, I felt like I'm having to say, do I want to tour or do I want to have children? And I really dislike that I was put in that position just because of my age. And this is a bit personal, but my mum went through early menopause, so she was like, you better hurry up, otherwise you're gonna miss out. And yeah, Fawn and I really did want kids. And the tours that we were getting were like, I can't remember what it's called, but you had to pay to play or something like that. So they might cover your airfares. You had to pay like $1,500 per show. So a lot of yous don't realize that, like when you tour, you're either not making any money because you're not really getting paid, or you're getting paid a ridiculously small amount. I forgot what the hell I was saying, but basically when we did the math on it, it was like we were going to be paid 10 grand, but it would have cost us 20 grand to go over there, and then you had to get more merch made, and we weren't big enough yet to warrant spending that kind of money and to be in a deficit. And it was a hard decision to make, you know, but I'm happy that I did it because I have my 2 beautiful kids. And I'm a bit of a hermit. I love being at home, and now I've got this beautiful room with all this haunt furniture. So I'm quite comfortable like making music in our home studio, and producing it at home and making videos for you guys, and being comfortable and being able to have like a solid relationship. Like imagine if we were touring, you can't bring kids. You know, within Temptation, they've got like what, 3 or 4 kids now? They get to bring their kids with them, and their parents babysit and stuff like that because they're big time. They've made it, you know. I feel like everything needed to happen like 10 years ago, but at the same time, As Angels Bleed wasn't there 10 years ago. Like, so just bad timing, but you never know. We might tour in the future. See, how did I end up talking about that when the question was about him? Seriously. Okay, what was my first pet? Well, I wasn't really allowed to have any pets because my mom was a little bit of a cleaning Nazi. Seriously, ask my childhood friends. So the first pet I had was seriously either hermit crabs or a bunny rabbit. I cannot remember, but if it was a bunny rabbit, I named her Bubbles, and it was supposed to be a miniature rabbit, which I was so excited about because they're so teeny tiny, but it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew and it was fat. So it was not a miniature rabbit at all. That was really cool. My dad, yeah, made a beautiful hutch for it. It was like multi-leveled, and yeah, I would have loved to have been in there if I was a rabbit. If it wasn't the rabbit, yeah, it was hermit crabs, but they bite, those nasty little motherfuckers. So yeah, they bit me a few times. I'm like, this is too much work. I think I gave them to my friend who also had hermit crabs. Nerd Panda asks, how many handbags do you plan on designing? Are you, I thought it was an ever, are you going to design anything else? Hell yeah. Just today when I was speaking to Dre, she was changing it up a little bit. And in fact, I was talking to her about possibly changing the shape or just doing something a little different. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm going to. But she wants me to do a backpack. Not a big backpack. A little teeny tiny cute one, but a really stylish one. I have not seen... I haven't looked at Restel's ones, and I don't want to because I don't want to be influenced, but either way, mine's going to be very, very different and unique for her. So that, yeah, that's different. So I'm not one to use backpacks, but I know they are really practical. And again, I can see it in my head, like it has to be Avelina De Moray style, very classy. So yeah, it's exciting to see what comes forth from that. Freya Soul asks, do you know Alison, the Goblin Queen? Yes, she is an amazing YouTuber. I'll love to watch a collab with her. Well, funny you should say that because someone on Instagram tagged myself in a comment saying they'd like me to work with a whole bunch of other people, and one of them was Aurelio Voltaire. Aurelio, am I saying that right? Angela Benedict, and the Goblin Queen, Alison. And she actually replied to that. She DM'd me and said, yeah, she'd love to work with me. And she was on my list of people to contact, so it just really worked out well. So yeah, we're chatting, we're gonna arrange a Skype call, and we've already been coming up with some really cool ideas. Your shirt is fabulous. Thank you. I will link the video to the shirt that she is speaking about. It was from Brows and Things. Brian says, love you and your music. Thank you. When will new music be coming? So I kind of answered that already, so I'm just going to skim over that. Mary Claire asks, where would you suggest to get a good Gothic wedding dress? Love your boys, they're so cute. I would look into getting one from China. Mine, I don't want to give away too much because I want to do my wedding video. which I'm going to do very soon with Von. 7 years later, I want to see if I can still fit into my dress. Yeah, mine was custom made from an online site that I found, and it was reasonably priced. Like, it looks like it was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but it was only hundreds. So I'm not going to give away too much because I want to speak about that in an upcoming video. Maeva Ray asks, when will I do a new house tour? So I've already addressed that, so I'm just going to skip over that quickly. Laura asks, would you ever do a bag collab with a male goth YouTuber? Men like bags too. I know they do. I think my heart is in ladies fashion, but I'm never going to say no. More and more people are kind of contacting me, a lot of men saying, hey, can you do this in like a backpack, like a male kind of version? So I just need my brand to get a little bigger. Again, each collab that I do, it costs $10,000 to get them made, so I can't really just like make things on a whim. I kind of need to know that there's a demographic for it and that it's going to be successful, hence the need to get, you know, so many pre-orders before they go into manufacturing to raise that $10,000. Steph asks, did you always want children? When did you know the time was right? So I've kind of addressed this already. Yes, we always knew that we wanted children. In fact, maybe 8 years prior, we bought like a little stuffed toy. It was like a little baby Frankenstein. It had all these piercings and stuff. It was really punky. And I thought, yeah, when I have kids, that's the kind of stuffed toys that they're gonna have. But yeah, we abandoned that idea because it was like $90. They want so many stuffed toys. Every time you go to the shops, they're like, oh, I want a new one. And when is the time? I don't think the time is ever right. Even though it was completely timed, I never felt ready, even when I was pregnant. And I was pregnant at 28, which, let's say for Riri Phillips, for example, she was like 17. Hats off to her and Mr. Phillips for handling that at such a young age. That must have been full on. Just need to kind of get in there and do it, literally. That was funny. Eternal Winter, hey girl, asks, what is one of your favorite coffee or tea drinks that you like? I know, random, laugh out loud. Also, I was curious as to what independent shops, designers you can recommend to us. I don't drink coffee, so my favorite tea is just black tea. I like Lipton, pretty bland and boring with that. White tea with 2 sugars if you want to make me one. Independent shops, that's kind of something I would need to look up, like, because my memory sucks. I cannot remember names off the top of my head, and I haven't really purchased anything recently, so I know that doesn't really answer the question. I was gifted some things from a shop in France called Mimishka. They're pretty independent and they're online, and there's another girl that contacted me called Halloween 13, H-E-L-L, like not Halloween. And she's on Etsy as well. She's, I think, in Australia, Brisbane maybe. But they're quite small and they've got some really unique stuff. So go and check them out. Sherilyn asks, I have no questions, but so love your castle home. Oh, thank you. Cybercat asks, do you have any advice for someone who's just trying to get himself into makeup? I need to find something that can stay gothy without being too overwhelming or expensive. General beginner tips on that. The first thing that when I very first started makeup, I just got like a waterproof eyeliner and a smudger and just like bottom lid, waterline on top of the lid, and just like smudged kind of raccoon circles. And that was all I did for many years. So start with that if you're a complete beginner. Could you give recommendations for bands that have good live shows too? I keep hearing great bands only to find out that they only tour in Europe. Good live bands from the US. Is Marilyn Manson still touring? He's always really energetic. Rob Zombie. Motionless in White, are they American? In this moment, I'm so excited that their new album just dropped. Go and check it out if you haven't already. Okay, on to the next one. This is from Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Avelina, what is a guilty pleasure of yours? Oh, Okay, don't tell anyone, but sweet and savory snacking late at night. Usually after I film YouTube videos, I will make myself a super hot cup of tea. I really love rice crackers and French onion dip and then little bits of chocolate. I really get excited by having little bits of food and different flavors, sweet, savory, salty. Oh, yeah. So, and then maybe carrots. Oh, I love carrot sticks in French onion dip. I'm getting hungry now because I didn't eat enough dinner. Okay, Carmen asks, are you going to ever design a small hand clutch that is perfect for night clubbing? Small enough for keys, a lipstick, an ID, and credit cards. Well, here's one I prepared earlier. I would say my femme fatale clutch, which I mentioned before, which just sold out, was a lot smaller. It was the same like length, it wasn't as tall, and it was nowhere near as thick. It was very, very thin. And I just found that too small. I still think this is one you can go clubbing with. I will be hopefully making matching wallets and stuff like that. And I like a big wallet. I like one that has a section for coins and stuff. I like a little section for the IDs. So yeah, maybe the wallet that I'm working on would be more appropriate for that. It's a lot smaller. You'd probably be able to put your lipsticks in the coin section instead of using that for coins. You can put an ID, you can put money, and that's really all you need when you go out. Oh, look at my breasts. I feel like I just want to sit like this for a while. This is a funny one. Chowie B, you're naughty. How many times a week do you and your husband ... have date night? Love you. You're rude. That is way too personal, but I will tell you, we just had date night the other night, and the flame is still there. It's like, what, 15 years I've known this man, and I love him to death. We haven't been out without the kids in a while. It's long overdue. I've got to ask my mom to babysit more often. But yeah, if anyone lives near me, come and babysit my kids so I can do date night more often. But yeah, my relationship with my husband is really important. So apart from right now where I'm sitting in here and completely ignoring him, we are home most of the day and spend it together, and we're always like flirting with each other and stuff. And I think that's really important, because once you have kids, a lot of your time ends up being about them. So it's important to stay romantic and shit. Okay, the next question is from Midnight Witch. I really love your haul videos, and I was wondering if I could do a... Okay, so she's asking basically if we could do a collab. So I'm open to working with anyone, but I really enjoy finding people myself organically, and I need to kind of feel a personal connection with them. And a lot of people are asking me, like, do you need an Instagram presence or a YouTube presence? I don't want to say no, but like from a marketing point of view, you kind of do. And I don't want to say this in like a snobby way at all, but like if we need to raise $10,000 on 75 bag sales, you probably need to have some kind of presence so we can market your bag to an audience, you know, and in the hopes that we will actually sell bags. So again, I'm not in the position yet where I can just, even under my own name, like make a whole bunch of handbags and expect to sell 75. I'm not there yet. The people that I am working with, they do have a presence on Instagram or a YouTube channel or both, and that definitely helps. It's not the is all and end all. I'm not like going to shut that door and say I'm not going to work with you if you don't have that. But definitely in the first Skype conversation that I have with all of my collabs, we talk about marketing. We talk about how are we going to get the product to your fans. And if you're in a position where you haven't built up that yet, I hope that makes sense. Like, again, this is why I'm kind of collabing with other people, because I'm not there yet myself. I've only got 4,000 on Instagram, so I'm really taken aback when people like have kind of put me up on this pedestal where I don't feel like I deserve to be on that, you know. So I'm really relying on the audience that my collaborators have to help build my business. So end of rant. Look at my nails, they are slowly growing into claws. Okay, Claudia asks, hi beauty. Hello. Question. Have you ever been to Germany for Wave Gothic Treffen? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I have never been to Germany. Shame on my husband, because he is German and he was born in Berlin. But yeah, we need to go back. Oh, it looks so fabulous. I've seen some of the images from Black Friday, having recently gone there, and it looks terrific. The stalls, oh my god, it puts every single festival that Australia has ever had to shame. Samantha asks, Avelina, love your channel. Thank you. At what age did you truly start to become goth? That's a good question. It was very organic. It wasn't like I woke up and went, oh, I want to be goth. It started, you know, back in high school when I was 17, and I discovered, well, let's say 15, and discovered guitar, and then the next few years started to go to metal concerts, and slowly, like, I was very delayed with makeup and nails. Like, I'm not going to say how old I am. I'm not old, but yeah, I'm just starting to get into nails. I'm a late bloomer with a lot of this stuff. So through going to concerts and then turning 18 and being able to go to like clubs and stuff like that and sussing out the goth clubs in Sydney. It was very organic. And then I was working since I was 14. I've had a job. So when I discovered like Hot Topic and I started buying alternative clothing because there weren't any shops in Australia that sold anything like that, I fell in love with lip service and Hot Topic. Seriously, I think I could have been like a private investor for those two companies like a decade ago. I spent so much money on their shit. So yeah, it was very organic and a very slow process over easily 5, 6, 7 years. Jen asked about the house tour, so I've already addressed that. I will do that soon. Maddie asks, where is that lovely cross ring from? Girl, I can't even remember. It was probably from one of those like really cheap lower end Australian shops that I regularly go into called Diva. It's just an accessory store, and they went through a kind of phase where they had like all these like cross kind of like Madonna Vogue kind of inspired accessories, and I just snapped it up. It was probably like $6.99. Nothing fancy. Sue, how many hours do you have this is funny, in a day in your world? You must have more than the 24 that we mortals get. I get told that a lot, which is so funny because I think I don't get enough done, and on the days that I don't, well, I feel I don't achieve anything, I'm like, oh, I didn't finish editing that video, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I really need to prioritize my time these days with kids, and I'm very lucky that I have a husband that watches the kids when I need to do other things, so yeah, that helps. Okay, I don't know how to say this username. I will read you the question. Hey gorgeous, I really love your art and was curious to know how you managed to get your name up there and be recognized for what you create. I'm kind of awkward answering that because I don't think I have. You guys think I'm recognized, which is lovely. Maybe I really have self-esteem issues. And like, you know, I never thought, I'm not as successful as like, you know, Victoria Francis or someone like that. So yeah, I'm so taken aback by your question. Just make art that you're passionate about. That's what I always did. I love vampires, and it was just logical for me to create vampire art, and I just happened to be really handy, I guess, at Photoshop. So it was easy for me to do the poster editing and kind of blur the lines between photography and digital drawing, because some of my art is photography, some is purely digital drawing, some is a combination of both. So I really like blurring the lines between what medium I use in my art. The color schemes as well, like I'm very inspired by Euronymous Bosch, and I don't know, I just think it was kind of fresh as like pop art. I get called a lot vampire art. It was kind of unique. Like the style of art that I do, I don't think had been done like that realistically before, where people are like, is this a photo, is this an artwork? And it got, you know, it got some attention. It didn't get as much attention as I hoped, but it's still out there, and I think I kind of need to relaunch my artworks, just like I'm trying to relaunch my business, because a lot of you don't actually know that I've got like all these cool artworks and they're on canvas and stuff like that. So just like I recently did a video on my vampire art book, I will probably do another video showcasing all the canvases that are available and that you guys can put up in your house, which is really cool. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question or if I just went on a massive rant there. Sorry. Destiny asks, what was pregnancy like for you? And what kinds of things did you personally experience, and do you plan on having more children? So I've already answered that. Yes, I do. Yeah, I didn't much like it. I don't like the first 3 months, the morning sickness, the throwing up. I got really sensitive to smells. I couldn't wear perfume, even Von's aftershave. Like I would just smell the smallest thing and then I'd nearly barf. It's ridiculous. And morning sickness, bullshit. They need to call it all day sickness. Yeah, that was the worst. The middle period was probably the best because the morning sickness went away. I was still not massive, you know, so I could sleep quite comfortably. The ending, the very last month, just seemed to go forever, and by then your back's sore, you can't touch your toes, you can't put your socks on, you can't put your own shoes on, you lose all of your independence, and you cannot wait for the baby to come out of your body. But then they're so beautiful when you see them. It's all worth it, but yeah, it's not pleasant. Okay, Witch Tannic asks, congratulations on your ever-growing following. Thank you. You surely deserve it. Oh, you work so hard and put out great content. Oh, this is so nice. As a fellow goth mom, you inspire me a lot. Thank you. Also, very excited to see what you do with Dre. Yeah, it's very interesting. I've got to start work on her backpack. My question is, yeah, I was like, is there a question here? In what ways have you found that motherhood has changed you the most? I get less sleep and I've got bags under my eyes. They weren't there before. But no, seriously, I've never said sweetie so much. I've never smiled so much. I said that to my best friend the other day and she's like, that's kind of sad. I'm like, well, it wasn't like I was unhappy, but they're making that, like, there it is. They just every day, like, I don't know if every mother is like this, but I just look at Steele and I look at London and I'm like, you guys are so beautiful. I love them so much. I love watching them develop. So how has it made me change? To answer your question, I think it's made me a better person. Like, I was always a pretty affectionate and empathic, is that the right word? I'm very aware of making other people feel comfortable and stuff like that. And I think being a mother has kind of turned that up like 10 notches. Like, yeah, I'm just so full of love and I just want to spread that out to the world. Okay, Ciara asks, do you like Visual Kei? Yes and no. I really like the video clips that come along with Visual Kei and J-pop and stuff like that. I used to watch Pop Asia, which is like a show dedicated to Visual Kei and J-pop on Saturday mornings. It would air in Australia. And there's some really cool tunes. It's a shame that most of it isn't in English, so it's, you know, obviously harder to sing along because it's in another language. The imagery is full on. It's like bloody theatrical. I love the androgynous kind of vibe that the guys have. I can't say I own any albums from it though. It's not my go-to genre. Rosie Corpse. Would you and your husband do any kind of couple tags and or music related videos? Yeah, absolutely. We've been talking forever, like I've been talking to Vaughn forever, about doing my husband does or boyfriend does my makeup tag, whatever. Because I just think that would be so much fun. Like, Vaughn has the funniest, driest sense of humor ever. Sometimes it doesn't come across as humor because it's so dry. And he brings out a very different side in me, which I think you guys would enjoy. And I've done a few live feeds, I might do one tonight, where he's joined me and it's just been the most ridiculous, like, dialogue. So yeah, he definitely takes my personality to a different place, which is cool. We do want to do a wedding video. Yeah, I just want to generally do more videos with him because I think that would be fun. I can't read the username of this person, but they've said, I've seen you around before, or maybe you just look like someone, but you're amazing. Thank you. That's hilarious. Cooking with Kamara says, ooh, a collab with Dre would be awesome. Yeah, our chat went really well today. No doubt some delicious green, will be used in there. That is the interior color for her bag. Okay, my questions are, what are your top 5 favorite bands? If you know me, you know, maybe I should like be different and not say Typo Negative first, but where is the fun in that? Yeah, Typo Negative, Clan of Zymox are one of my new faves. Old time faves, Marilyn Manson, and more old school kind of favorite, Fleetwood Mac. I really love Fleetwood Mac and Queen. Oh, let's make it 6. In This Moment. I am so in love with In This Moment. Do you think you will start designing other bits and pieces apart from bags like jewelry? I've already done jewelry, so head on over to my website and check out. I've got 5 pendants that have 5 of my artworks as the centerpiece. Really cool. Again, that's kind of when I dropped like 7 grand into these pendants and then like they really didn't sell and I think they're gorgeous, so please go and check them out. I've dropped them to like half price, just hoping that over time they will sell. I don't know why they didn't sell. If you could design a bag for any celebrity, who would it be and why? The person that always springs to mind with this, who is like up here, up on the tallest pedestal that I would like to work with, would be Kat Von D. I think she's just such a positive role model for her work against animal cruelty, to her brand being, you know, completely vegan friendly, to just always presenting herself in a very positive manner. That is very appealing to me. And it's just so wonderful to watch her ever-growing success, starting back with Miami Ink to LA Ink to High Voltage. She's gonna take over the world, seriously. I think it would be a complete honor to work with her. And thank you, my lipstick from that video that you mentioned was from Black Moon Cosmetics. I think it's called Immortal. Magda, hey Magda, she's my Transylvanian beauty. She actually lives in Transylvania. How cool is that? Oh, congrats on 4K subs. Thank you. What collaborations are you planning that we don't know about? Or who would you like or want to work with? Well, 2 that I've kind of already announced is Dre Renane and Alison the Goblin Queen. As for people that I want to work with, there's a few that I've contacted but I haven't heard back from yet. So I I don't want to name and shame those ones because then it's like, it's embarrassing for me if they don't get back to me. I'm not saying I have contacted these people, but I'm in love with Monami Frost. I would love to work with her. Kelly Eden. I was just speaking about Kelly Eden today. Obviously her and Dre are roommates, so I might hit her up, see if she's keen. I think a pastel bag would be so cool and so different for me as well. That would definitely be putting me out of my comfort zone. There's so many awesome people to work with. I'd also like to try to contact some musicians as well. So top on my list, metal bands would be Christina Scabbia, Maria from In This Moment, and Arch Enemy. Magda also asks, will I do more vampire art? It takes so long to edit. It appears that I am just too busy at the moment to dedicate the amount of time that is needed to kind of in post-production. My last vampire shoot was with Riri in September, which is almost a year ago, and I still haven't pulled my finger out of my butt and edited those. Like, they've been released, they're really nice photos, but I haven't, you know, made the backgrounds, castles, and flock of bats and all the cool stuff that I normally do to make my artwork go to the next level. At the moment, it's just like a nice creative photo. So yeah, hey, if you want to fly over from Transylvania or babysit my kids, so so I can work on some vampire art, let's make that happen. DM me. Angel asks, are there any other styles or subcultures that would interest you? Definitely. Like, I myself am obviously into all things goth, dark, macabre. I want to expand my brands. I don't want to just be known as like, oh, that goth chick. Like, I will forever be, let's say, that goth brand. I don't want to limit myself to just working with goth YouTubers, even though I completely love so many of them. I want to start to branch out. So again, if I contacted Kelly Eden, a pastel bag would be so different for me. And again, it's not something that I would ever think to create. That's the beauty of my collabs. It's really going to like expand my brand. So I think it will always have my flair on it because I'm designing it. I definitely want to keep it alternative, but not limited just to goth. You know, someone might want a gold bag and that's fine. I'm not going to be like, oh, that's not goth, I can't do that. How boring is that? Okay, I have time for one more question and then I have to like go and do a live IG feed with you guys and then spend some time with my husband. And I don't even know if I'm through like half of these questions. Okay, Vessel of Blood. Hey Heather, go and check out her YouTube channel if you haven't already. What is your day job? I loved your question when what do you do? What do you do, woman? Besides being a lovely mum to your boys, also what does your husband do? So I kind of touched on this before, I think, but yeah, I run 2 successful music schools. I think the school opened in like 1969. Obviously Yvonne and myself didn't own it back then because like I wasn't born. So it's got a bit of a legacy behind it. We took it over maybe, I'm gonna say a decade ago or maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but I maintain that. I do all the new bookings and things like that, so my phone is always ringing. Luckily for this school, when we moved away to Tamworth from Sydney, we put on a manager, so he is super helpful in doing all the stuff that I used to handle. Moving has actually freed up a lot of time, allowing me to get like really delve into this new creative kind of zone that I'm in right now. So designing handbags, aligning new collabs, I'm trying to promote my business, film videos for you guys, and just really build up my profile. So yeah, moving to the country has definitely been a positive change for me. So the second school that we run is in Tamworth. My husband's working a lot more than me. I have 1 student once a week, and I'm kind of sending that message out to the universe that I'm happy with that. Yeah, so I teach a lovely girl violin. My husband, again, I said this before, guitar, bass, drums, and banjo. He's only got like 10 students. The other school that we run has 150, so it's very big. So it's only been up and running for a few months. Once a week I go in and teach 1 student. That's my job. But this is becoming my job. YouTube is actually starting to pay me. Yay! There's like $5 in my account. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy myself a lipstick. But you can't take it out until you get to 100. Anyway, we'll get there. I've got a lot more free time. So I used to work 3 days a week. I've been part-time for a long time. Before I had kids, I was working 5 days a week, teaching full on. And then I dropped back once I had Steele to 2. I went back to work when I was pregnant with London. I worked up until 8 months and then we moved very suddenly. Yeah, so I haven't really been working that much, but I've been putting so much love, blood, sweat and tears into my business, and I'm hoping that it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and branches out, and it is starting to make me money slowly, you know. So if you haven't checked out my online store, please go there. I've got many other products other than my handbags. Like this one here I just prepared earlier. The Riri Phillips clutch. Yeah, besides the clutches, I've got like canvases, I've got my artworks, I've got keyrings, I've got clothing, I've got a bucket load of band t-shirts with my band's print and my artworks. I've got my limited edition book, I've got pendants. I have a lot of merchandise, wow. So yeah, go and check that out. It's been really fun over the last 4 to 5 to some say 6 months. I've really put as much energy as I can into my business, and I've just noticed a massive increase in like social media contact, which is lovely. I'm getting a lot of messages from you guys. It's been a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to call it a day for this question and answer video. I'm just gonna have a quick check on how many more there are. Oh, holy shit. We'll have to do a part 2. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to me answer your questions. Remember to press that like button. It does something to the success of my channel. Subscribe, and if you do subscribe, or if you are already subscribed, remember to hit that little bell. It gives you an alert when I upload. Otherwise you won't instantly, I don't know, just go and hit the bell and it will be good. It will be so good. It's been fun talking to you guys, and I will see you in the next video.